Hey, welcome back. Decided to work in the evening this time instead of the morning. So I'm going to try to finish the last few things here on getting everything clear before the engine pulls out. So trying to disconnect the fuel pump, and then the line's going to the fuel pump. I think I'm going to try to get the battery tray out, because the battery tray, it's all rusted. It's in bad shape. So I'm going to get the fuel pump out right here and work on this again. So I've done some reading on it, and everybody said remove the clamp. I'm like, what clamp? And I look, and I've already removed the clamp. I just forgot I removed it. So still going to try to get this out. It says just pressed on there, but I don't want to break this. So let me get some line wrenches and then get this fuel line out. It's up to here too. That's one of them funky bolts again. That was in the fuel system. But I don't have anything for it. But I'll get those out, and then it looks like 2 bolts are holding that to the block, and put a pan under there in case anything leaks out of it. So I haven't drained the oil on this, so I don't know how much oil is actually in the crankcase or anything like that. That might be even the last thing I do before we're pulling, right before pulling the engine. So, all right, got the fuel pump off. And just for reference, you need a 9/16 for this, and then you need a 1/2 inch for the other end of the fuel line, both sides there. For some reason, the 9/16 just wanted to get stuck on that from time to time. I don't know why. And then for the 2 bolts that hold it in, used a 1/2 inch socket on that. But I used a 1/4 inch drive. Get this to where I can show y'all. 1/4 inch drive and put in there, because anything else would be a little too big to fit in there. You just got a little bit of clearance here to get that in there. So if you had a bigger drive on that, it'd be up against the base of the fuel pump, and you wouldn't be able to turn it. So, but the fuel pump, it moves. It's not frozen in place. So, but then of course the diaphragm in there is probably bad and stuff. So and on this I might just convert to electric fuel pump. It's going to be a little bit more reliable than this. But what we do on the Corvair is we leave the old fuel pump on and just make it a bypass, so it looks like you still got the original equipment on there. So I might end up just doing that. So now that I got this off, I'm trying to get the vacuum advance off. Having some trouble with that, but now everything's freed up. I'm gonna try to work on the downdraft tube again. All right, success, finally. Took a while to get this out. Show you how I did it. So hit it back and forth with a hammer a little bit. I got it loose. But I finally got this pry bar here. I was able to set it, you can see right here, on the motor mount, and use that as leverage, pulling it this way, and then sometimes getting underneath it here and pulling it up like that. Being real gentle with it, because I didn't want to break that seam right there. So that's got that out. Only thing I need to do is try to get the vacuum advance line out. But since this is out, I got more room to get the vacuum advance line out. So let's see if I can do that. All right, my battery died last night in the camera, so got to re-record this last segment here. So I got the vacuum advance line out with the downdraft tube removed. It was a little easier to get the wrench in there and moving around. Also ended up getting the battery tray, which needs to be replaced. It's had 5 bolts that held it in place. Got it out, but what I've noticed is the battery tray was eaten through. That means my air duct to the heater core was eaten through. So just another thing to put on the list. Either find a replacement or see if I can get somebody to fabricate one. It just looks like square pieces of sheet metal, so it might be easier to fabricate one than get a whole new one. So but that's it for this weekend. Next couple of weekends kind of busy, so I probably won't produce any content for a while till after middle of September. But if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, so when I do put a new video out, you'll know about it. But I said, if you got any tips or suggestions, please pass them along, because I'll take those. I'll look at all other people's videos just to see what they're doing and help me out, stuff like that. But I appreciate you watching, and thanks for following along on the journey.